team after the game, but we'll give you a break the next time because we want to go to Dublin. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about this bill. This bill creates an independent energy policy for Ohio that becomes a model, frankly, a role model for the rest of the country. It also is important because it contributes to economic development. When you can have a guarantee of energy, low cost, when you're creative and innovative, it's good for business. And we have to do everything we can in Ohio because we don't get a federal subsidy like the Tennessee Valley Authority does. We have to do everything that we can do in Ohio to make sure we can meet our energy demands. And the fact that we also have a backbone of manufacturing in our state, it's also very, very important. As you know, Mary Taylor and I, the Lieutenant Governor and I, are thrilled with what is happening in the eastern part of the state. And that is the development of shale gas. But I want to make it clear to everybody here, we were not going to develop shale gas at the expense of the environment. And we have contained in this bill the most aggressive, clearest, fairest, and strongest fracking regulations that you can find anywhere in the country. I went to the basketball game, NCAA game, with President Obama and with the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And it was there that I told the President, we don't need your EPA to come into Ohio to regulate our program, because frankly, when it comes to a number of the regulatory programs affecting energy, we are actually ahead of where the federal government is. And let me just tell you a little bit about it. First of all, there is a big issue on fracking fluid. And we have, without any doubt, the toughest law on fracking fluid in America. We not only are going to force disclosure of the fluid used to start the pipe, to start the well, but also, of course, the kind of fluid that gets used in the drilling. What is important about that is we still can protect some trade secrets, although physicians have an ability to understand the entire formula, and that we have very strong testing requirements, water samples within 1,500 feet of a proposed horizontal well, and will disclose the results in their permit applications. Well operators must disclose the proposed source of water used in well drilling and the completion process. This is really very much breakthrough. Well operators who violate safety and environmental regulations are subject to mandatory daily fines, and the rules for disposing of wastewater through underground injection wells, and you all know about that, the famous New Year's Eve issue on injection wells and the tremors that came from that well. We have now instituted and will continue to institute regulations that are related to those wells. We will not permit wildcatting without an awful lot of reporting and seismic imaging. And Jim Zeringer is on the top of what we're going to do with injection wells. So when it comes to the issue of shale gas, to the people in Northeast Ohio and the people in Eastern Ohio who have been worried, can we do this safely? The answer is yes. And we're going to give you an opportunity to see exactly what is happening in this, so you don't have to worry that we may be creating a job for your son and daughter, but there's damage to the environment. We're going to do our very best here with the kind of disclosure that we have in the area of fracking fluid. Now, when it comes to the high-pressure pipelines, a number of those rules are still being written, but we now have the authority to make sure that we have tough regulations on the high-pressure pipelines and on the gathering lines. Because what we don't want to do is have explosions. You know, I mean, mistakes can be made in anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but nobody in any industry or any lobby group or any trade group was able to prevent the legislature from working with us to make sure that we have very strong regulations when it comes to the operation of that industry. It was critical that we laid down the DNA early on, and that we can make the strong case that this industry can proceed forward and at the same time be in a position of where we can protect that environment. We are also involved in ensuring Ohio's generation capacity and investing in new technologies.